our weekend. We're going to come out and take this clock home with us, and we just did that.
I'm so very thankful, and man, I'm blown away.
Here's the starting grid brought to you by Draft Top. Up front, it will be Austin Cedric and Noah Gragson. Those two will make up row number 1, but that means they'll also be the first ones to start catching the guys at the back. It's such a short track.
Oh, it's a short track, and traffic will be an issue for sure. Jeb Burton, he's a guy I'm looking at back there in row 4. A lot of laps here, both in late models and in trucks. A lot of experience here. His cousin, last week's winner in the last lap pass, Harrison Burton back there in row 5.
A little bit deeper in the pack. See Michael Annette. Brett Moffitt ran a truck race last night. A lot of experience.
Familiar name there, Jeffrey Earnhardt, nephew to Dale Jr. over there in the other booth.
Maya Snyder, another one of those drivers that has a lot of experience here. Back in the 21, we've talked about him all year, splitting rides. Back in the RCR ride in row 11. Herbst there in row 12 next to Jeremy Clements. You mentioned it, a lot of cars for a small little racetrack. Allmendinger, it's going to be exciting to see how he goes. Always ran well here in a Cup car, starting back in row 18 today.
Only 2 drivers that have ever run in this race in Xfinity Series back in 2006, Carl Long and J.J. Yaley. Those 2 are in the field once again after 13 years of not running here at the track. Let's talk a little bit more about a few drivers on the track. One of the most aggressive drivers this year, the driver of the number 9, Noah Gragson. For more on him, here is Marty Snyder.
And Rick, no doubt that aggression could pay off for Noah Gragson today, but let's go back 1 week to the Texas Motor Speedway. Gragson looked like a lock for the championship 4 until the last corner on the last lap. He was passed by Harrison Burton for the win on the last corner. I talked to Noah about that earlier today. He said, I gave myself 1 day to get over that, and I immediately focused on Martinsville. Gragson has won here in the trucks before, and Xfinity Series win would put him in the championship 4, Dave Burns.
Ross Chastain is a 27-year-old third-generation watermelon farmer from Florida, but his other passion is racing stock cars. He gets to go to the highest pinnacle next year full-time for Chip Ganassi Racing, but this year it's about finishing off with an Xfinity Series championship. He starts today below the cut line. He's got to be aggressive today to make sure he makes it to Phoenix in the championship 4, Parker.
And Dave, Ryan Sieg and the Sieg family race team are the little team that could. Getting this far into the playoffs has been so impressive to watch this little team do that. But after a mechanical failure last week in Texas, they come to this race 43 points below the cut line. It's a must-win position. How are they going to do that? They intend to utilize some strategy they've used all year, which is basically saving an extra set of tires late in the race, maybe have an extra set than everyone else, and seeing if that can propel them to a win here at Martinsville.
Thanks, Parker. And Steve, when he says that, you know, save it for late in the race, this is a pretty short race. Give us the numbers on this one, the race breakdown.
It is a short race at a short track, perfectly lined up. Martinsville Speedway, one of the oldest racetracks in NASCAR, 250 laps, a little over 131 miles, stage 1 and 2, both 60 laps in length. The final stage, 130 laps. Pit road speed, a crawling 30 miles per hour. Fuel window, they can go upwards of 150 laps. So I don't think there'll be a fuel situation, but it's going to be exciting. You see how small this track is? What you have right here are the leaders leaving pit road after checking their tax and their pit road speed in the back of the field yet to get to pit road. I mean, that's just how small this racetrack is.
I mentioned earlier, no practice, no qualifying, so they have to be able to come to pit road, make sure that their tacks are set so that they don't speed while they're on pit road. They would definitely not want to have a penalty like that during this race.
No, this is it's just so hard to recover here. Track position matters just because it's like a parking lot. It's bumper to bumper around here, which is what the fans want to see, because you know how you get through a parking lot is pushing and shoving. They will have a chance to work on their cars if they choose to pit, though, because of that lack of practice and qualifying, consistent really as they've been all year. There'll be a competition yellow around or a lap 25. Wouldn't shock me, though, to see a lot of guys not pit. It's kind of optional. You don't have to come in.
So, Steve, I got to ask you, the guys have no notes here. This series hasn't ran here in a very long time. So how would a crew chief approach to setting their car up for this race?
You know, this is one, you mentioned it, it's a long time. It's been 2006 since we've last seen Xfinity cars on this racetrack. I think a lot of them are going to lean on the Cup Series and what works there, and I think you just look at it a little bit like a road course as far as fundamentals. You know it's a flat, short track, a half a mile. You know you have to have good brakes. There are certain short track things. You know, when we see late models race all across the country, they don't get a lot of practice. They kind of go with what they think works, a kind of a short track, small setting. A lot of the same here in the Xfinity Series. I think there's a lot of question marks. A lot of those tools are going to be tested, those off-track tools, simulation, things like that.
We saw Kevin Harvick's name the last time the Xfinity Series ran here. He won the race. Think about that. He's in great position to potentially win the race tomorrow in the Cup Series and advance to the championship four. Here again is the playoff leaderboard. The round of 8, this is the third race, the third and final race of this round. That means that 4 drivers will be eliminated. The only 4 that get to run for the championship will be the 4 with the most points at the end of this race.
So as we ride around here slow, drivers, I think something worth pointing out to the fans at home is when we go down to the corner right here, that red and white on the inside of the racetrack, unlike in most tracks where it's just a flat apron to kind of get out of the way, here that's a curb. Like on your street at home, we're going to talk a lot about hitting the curbs, bouncing off the curbs, even getting spun out. That curbing right there, it's not quite 90 degrees, but I can assure you it will upset a race car.
Yeah, these restarts are pretty tough at Martinsville. A lot of chain reaction, checkups getting down into turn 1. A lot of these guys are going to be testing the front bumpers on them cars, just how tough they'll be here.
Yeah, you talked about very little experience in these Xfinity cars on this racetrack. Most of these drivers, though, have raced here in trucks or in late models, but that is a completely different vehicle than what they have at hands on today.
Getting ready for the start of stage 1. 60 laps. It's a sprint. Up front, Austin Cedric, Noah Gragson. Xfinity Series racing again at Martinsville.
You'll see these drivers trying to get to the bottom as quickly as they can, but for the first few laps on a restart, you can make the outside work if you have good rear drive on corner exit.
Dive to the inside there, Jeff Burton. That 8 car, State Water Heaters number 8. We're riding along now. That was Brandon Jones with the Toyota onboard camera.
You see right now, Chase Briscoe in that 98 car, when Jeb got underneath him, everybody saw that as a signal. Don't let him back down. See Harrison Burton underneath him now. Ryan Sieg in that 39. His whole mission is to get door to door with that 98 so he cannot get down on the bottom of the racetrack.
The 07, Greg Gaulding's almost stalled down here in turn 1 and 2.
Cautions come out. Sure enough, not rolling.
We heard his car coming down the front straightaway, popping and spitting. Seems like he's lost power to that car. Everybody able to avoid.
I wasn't sure what happened, Junior. You mentioned the front stretch. Well, on the back stretch, it slowed down and then accelerated like they fixed it. And then he came over here to the front stretch. As you mentioned, you could hear it.
I can't get a crank right now.
Greg Gaulding, one of the 5 drivers from Virginia, Colonial Heights, Virginia. He brings out the first caution. NASCAR Drive, that's your live race day companion. You can follow your favorite drivers by selecting up to 8 different high-definition cameras. Just visit NASCAR.com/drive, or you can download the mobile app today. Got another camera that you can choose from way up above the racetrack. Aerial coverage brought to you by Geico today, and we see the 07 of Greg Galding rolling once again.
Yeah, it appears they were able to get that car back under power and join in the back of the field for the one to go here.
One to go means the choose cone, guys. That orange V right there, you can go above or below. You guys just talked about how important the bottom of the racetrack is. So, Junior, I'll challenge you. At what point do you choose the top just to gain positions?
I think early on in this race, while there's no definitive groove or rubber on the racetrack, you can take some chances with that outside groove. Find some good grip out there and find some drive off. So it's going to really work them tires staying out there. You don't want to be out there too long beating up the tires. I think tire wear here is going to surprise some of these guys on this first set.
Thank goodness. That's what makes great short track racing, Rick. You know, we talk about racing and rules and all of those things. Goodyear is one of the key parts to helping these drivers put on a great race, and they have really found a great combination here at Martinsville. These Goodyear tires have grip when you need them. They wear out when they should. Makes the driver's ability to save tire, not just spin them randomly. It adds for a great layer of racing.
And in the Xfinity Series, a limited number of those tires too, so you can't just throw them on every caution.
No.
Back for the restart. Austin Cedric in the 22 on the inside. Noah Gragson in the 9 on the outside. There you see everyone fighting for that inside line. Noah Gragson can't get down there.
You see what happens is they fight to the inside and they stack up. The 20 of Harrison Burton was able to roll around 2 positions in the outside and now get in line. Great move by the driver of the 20 right here in front of Brandon Jones and the Toyota onboard camera.
Harrison's one of those drivers who has experience at this racetrack in the truck series within 3 years. So he can kind of tell about the timing, which is so important at this racetrack.
Experience here, and Harrison, while all these drivers came up a different way, he was right on board with Justin Allgaier, the Unilever United for America on board. You know, Harrison, I watched him kind of grow up working with Jeff. And Jeff, you know, a lot of short tracks, a lot of late models. That is what Martinsville is. It's back to short track racing.
Well, the 10 up the racetrack there. Harrison's able to get underneath him. Coming off turn 4 here, drag race down the front straightaway. Harrison's going to take the spot.
Yeah, Harrison showed him that he wanted the bottom. Ross Chastain drove in the corner deeper, trying to prevent him from taking it, and just got loose on corner entry.
Jones now on the inside. Chastain buries that car down into turn 3. Holds Jones really tight up against the curb, trying to not allow Jones to get any power down the straightaway. Still side by side into turn 1.
Great shot from that Toyota cam. You'll see that all day long. You get that guy on the outside, you cannot cut him any slack.
Chastain able to get in line behind Jones, right in front of Michael Annette.
We ride along with this Nutrient Ag Solutions camera, riding along with Ross Chastain.
It's a great shot right here. You can see what they're trying to do. Protect the bottom. Leave with your left side tires right on that curve. That's where the grip is on corner exit.
Oh, a little bit of a wheel hop right there. Contact with the net in the middle of the corner. A little damage to both of those cars.
And we saw that earlier when the 20 got underneath the 10. It was because the 10 got really loose on corner entry, and that's that wheel hop we just heard.
We saw a lot of left rear tire issues with the truck race last night, but these fiberglass bodies, I think these guys will be able to lean on each other a little bit more without any problems cutting them tires down. But you said, I mean, when this race starts, they have no notes to go off of. Really don't have any understanding of how to have the brake balance in the car. A lot of these guys are going to be chasing that brake balance early, trying to get those cars to brake properly, getting into the corner. Not lock up the left front, not wheel hop the rear tires.
You mentioned the truck race last night. The 02 of Brett Moffitt back there was in that truck race. Dave.
And Ross Chastain has had Truck Series experience here and Cup Series recently as last year in the 10 car. You're on board with him now, and he just radioed that brake problem going into the corners. The wheel hop, you call it, is terrible. He's had to back off his braking just a little bit so that it doesn't happen and cause the problems it was, Marty.
Justin Allgaier sitting in fourth, Dave, and in a good position to advance to the championship 4, and also has a lot of confidence in his car. Listen to him telling his team about the car under the last caution.
Definitely think we're better than the 11 and the 9 right at the moment. Obviously, that's going to change a lot as the run goes on, but I feel pretty good about where we're at balance-wise right here.
And Parker, remember, Justin Allgaier, one of the very few drivers in this field with some experience in both the Cup cars, trucks. He's ready to go here today at Martinsville.
Right, and in 6th place, Brandon Jones has experience as soon as last night running the truck race, and I asked his crew chief about what he would bring. He said, I think he'll reference it, and sure enough, very early on, he referenced the difference in this car to what he had in the truck last night, and Dale Jr., you alluded to it. We saw a lot of tire wear in those trucks, paying off dividends if you save those rear tires late in the run, and that's exactly what Brandon was referencing, how this car was treating his rear tires well early on.
Yeah, early in the run, if you know, all these cars are going to drive really good in the top 10, top 15. Everybody can get the power down really hard off the corner. Everybody can charge the entry. It's those guys that take care of their cars. Maybe you don't mash the gas all you can mash it on corner exit. Don't give the car everything it can take. Just ease into the gas right here off the corner. Take care of that car a little bit. It'll pay off lap 40, lap 50, lap 60.
One of the most difficult things here to do is to leave straight, meaning you want to be as low as you can. Oh, 74 car up in the wall. Bailey Curry.
Bailey Curry tags the wall. The caution does not come out. They stay green.
Clear.
He's got some bad issues. I think he's going to bring it to pit road.
Hey guys,
That could be a challenge here. Oh, he does a nice job getting down to the left.
So the left front tire's flat on that car has sent him up into the fence. Even when usually you see the right front tires go, the guys have no control, but this track is so fast entering the corner. If you lose the left front, you're going to get in the fence.
Talked about wheel hop. Right along with Ron Chastain, and listen. You heard that? Pop, 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 pop. That's wheel hop. Steve, that's caused by too much rear brake, not enough front brake, or a rear shock combination.
Yeah, shocks. You know, unfortunately, all the things you just listed are very hard to adjust during the race. Dale asked about notes. These are the things that as you race here year in and year out, you fundamentally set your cars up differently. You can make small adjustments to improve it for your driver. As we look at the footwork right here for Ross Chastain. You see how hard he pushes with that left foot as the caution comes out. This will be the yellow for the comp cautions. Just not a lot I can do to help you during the race, Jeff. I wish I could, but just a small adjustments.
That usually tends to show up early in the run when you can charge the corner because you got such great grip in the middle of the corner. Once you lose that grip in the center of the corner, you can't drive into the corner that far anymore. You're going to lift early, brake a lot easier, not have those kind of issues. They will show up, though, on newer tires.
Yeah, because wheel hops, at least you're concerned at lap 50, you got to make the middle of the corner.
Yeah, but it's something a driver can do all day. You'll take some rear brake out of the car, right? Keep taking rear brake out of that car, and then slowly dial it back in as the run goes on. You're gonna have to adjust it all day long, depending on if you have new tires or not.
So again, the reason for the competition caution, there hasn't been any practice, no qualifying, so this is the first time on the track for drivers and teams to get a notebook. They will be able to check out the tires, see if there is more wear than what they were anticipating, see how they were doing on this run. And then others might not even come to pit road, Steve.
Yeah, I'd be surprised to see any of the leaders come to pit road. Maybe middle of the pack on back, but track position so hard to come by. Only 34 laps to go in the whole finish of stage one.
what a great lineup of championship events on NBC next weekend. Here's some of the incredible things you're going to see. The Breeders' Cup, college football, Clemson, they won today, so the #1 team goes into Notre Dame. We'll see how that fares. Trevor Lawrence still don't know if he will be able to play in that game. That's questionable. And then, of course, the Cup Series championship from Phoenix on Sunday. Football Night in America also a little later. Here's someone who has a personal connection to the excitement.
Hey, sports fan, Ronaldo Wynn here, NFL veteran. Guys, you don't want to miss this weekend, the biggest sports weekend of all time, and it's all on NBC, of course, starting with my alma mater of Notre Dame, welcoming the Tigers in town. And then, of course, racing. You got to love racing. My old coach and my old race team at Joe Gibbs Racing, Denny Hamlin, Martin Truex, now is the time. It's going to be a racing championship weekend you don't want to miss. And then going from 1 horsepower to another horsepower on the horse. The Breeders' Cup, are you kidding me? All in one weekend. You don't want to miss it. We'll see you there.
Yes, we will. All right, here is how they chose inside, outside. Cedric once again will take the inside line. Gregson will be outside.
We also had a few cars come to pit road. The first one on tires, I believe, will be Myatt Snyder back in the 21 car, but he'll be all the way back outside the top 20. We'll see if he can use those new tires to his advantage. And Ryan Seeking, the 39, was given a speeding ticket. Too fast on pit road.
A.J. Allmendinger started all the way back in 34th. He's up to the 12th position now. We'll see if he can continue that progress as the green flag comes back out. A.J. Allmendinger in the 16, so you can look for that. That fluorescent green car there with the 16.
Glad you called it out, Rick. I was checking for the numbers. It's a good-looking car, but that's one thing without practice and qualifying. I don't get to see all these paint schemes.
See the 20 on the outside of the 11 has a decision to make right here. He decided to get behind the 11 rather than going up side by side with him when he had took the bottom.
So Harrison Burton falls in line, but now looks to the inside of Haley. And he'll try to take that spot. We'll see how hard Haley fights for it. Right there on his door. Stays there. Doesn't want Harrison to be able to get back into the gas as quick.
Yeah, look at the line behind him. Justin knows if he does not fend this fight off, he's got, big move there to get to the bottom.
Yeah, Haley knows that his only opportunity to get back in line was right then and there. They went through another corner side by side. He's going to give the 7 the opportunity to be on the inside of him.
Yeah, riding along with that leaf filter on board Justin Haley. Right there on the bumper, too. What a great view here.
I love it. We talked about that curve. Well, this will be the shot of it. Looking right there to the left.
Almost on it.
They'll hit it. I mean, you don't want to hit it, but their left front tires will hit that curb over the course of the day. You get spun out, that curb could turn into a seesaw. Next thing you know, you have, neither a front or a rear tire touching the ground as you teeter.
Steve, we've been talking about the in-car adjustment. Oh, trouble on the track, Rick.
Yeah, Greg Alding once again in the 07. This time it was a spin that brings out the caution.
3 wide there.
And you're hearing it was 3 wide. That doesn't normally work at Martinsville. A lot of times 2 wide doesn't work at Martinsville.
So inviting, though. Well, if you're going to lift, I can drive it a little farther than you.
Ask Clint Boyer a couple years back when he decided to make it 3 wide. Weren't you on one of those teams, Steve?
I was. It didn't work then either. Appreciate you bringing that up.
So the caution has come out once again. 3 cautions already early in this race from Martinsville. Sure enough, it was 3 wide. Monday, the Voice blind auditions reach a turning point as the coaches get one last chance to find greatness this Monday. The Voice on NBC. Parker.
As we see Brandon Jones there in 7th, guys. We talked about the importance of saving rear tires, especially the right rear. Take a listen to what his team said to him under the last caution.
Yeah, if it's because you're tight and you're just getting up off that bottom right about there, just wait that split second more. It's going to help you on the overall straightaway than it is not waiting that split second there. Get that thing turned so we're driving straight off. Otherwise, we're going to wear that right rear out. You're going to lose straightaway speed also on top of that. Okay, 10-4.
That's the key, to drill it into the driver's head. Make sure you drive that thing straight and save those rear tires. It'll pay off at the end of the run, Dave.
Chase Briscoe is the only driver guaranteed into the championship 4 right now by virtue of a win a couple of races ago. Here's what he's going through right now.
Smells like brakes in here bad. I don't know if it's just because they're new and just got so hot all of a sudden or what, but it definitely smells like brakes. Ridgeway, Martinsville, Virginia smells like brakes right now. We smell it all down here.
That's Crew Chief Richard Boswell telling him, yep, we can smell it down here. Everybody's having trouble with their brakes today, but they're using them a lot, and Justin Haley was as well. He worked on them in the 11 car and made that bias to where it was a little bit better. Still wants an adjustment first time he heads down pit road, Marty.
Dave coming to the choose, and Noah Gregson and Dave Ellens talking about what to do, and watch what Gregson will do here. He's going to take the top. Junior, you said a moment ago, you want someone to kind of challenge the top and see what happens on a restart. There goes Gregson. He wants to challenge Austin Cedric, see if he can get the lead right here. You guys like that move? Just try in the top here on an early restart, see what happens.
Yeah, I like the the idea of the situation that Noah's in. Has to go out there and win this race. I think he has to take these chances all day long. And right before the yellow came out, Noah was putting a little bit of pressure on that 22 car.
It's crazy how slow the pace truck's going right here. He's trying to get the field caught back up so that they can enter the Geico restart zone.
We got a car stalled down here in turn 4, the number 6 car.
Yeah, lights came back on the pace truck there, so
Ryan Vargas has got either hung up on the curb, high-sided the curb, or just stalled out.
Man, that, when I said it was going to be a teeter-totter, I meant after an accident. I don't want him to go down there in a zone. I had to think that things just stalled out.
Yeah.
It looks like all 4 tires are on the ground. Oh, yeah, there's a good quarter-inch gap right here. There we go. You see Noah, he'll line up on the outside of the front row. Let's take a look at last week's race. And Noah, I felt so bad. He did such a great job commanding the closing laps, but Harrison Burton got close enough where Noah just made a mistake. Got a little too high on the exit of turn 4. I'm sure the car got a little tight. And Harrison, congratulations to him. He was there to capitalize, Rick.
yeah, we did not think Harrison was going to be able to catch him. 2 laps to go. Harrison had just passed the driver for second, and there was a pretty good sized gap there, and it didn't look like it was going to be something Harrison could have accomplished, but an amazing drive by Harrison. Obviously a little bit of a mistake there by Noah at the end of that race, and Harrison ends up in victory lane.
You guys talked about challenging the top. So Junior, I think the key for the 9 right here is to find a way from the middle of the corner to exit to run as low as possible. Don't let that 22 have a wide exit, right? Make him be pinched off on corner exit.
Yeah, that's what you see most of these guys try to stay on each other's door. If you're on the outside, if you're on that guy's door, he can't get in the gas.
Austin Cedric in control, race leader through the restart zone, back into the gas.
Right here, that's where I want him to stay nice and close to him. He did a nice job right there. Look at the advantage he'll gain down the straightaway.
Fighting for that bottom line behind him.
Now he's going to have a decision to make as well. It's hard to get some pressure from behind with the 20 car. Now they're lined up on the bottom. The longer this goes, the harder it will be for Noah.
Oh, a little contact there. The 22 and the 9 together in the middle of the corner.
Up the racetrack they went. The 20 of Harrison Burton looked to the inside there for a moment.
Harrison has to be patient here, but he can't be too patient. He has the 11 car right on his back bumper.
Oh, I love that move by the 9 right there. That's how you take the lead from the top.
And here comes Harrison. He wants to take second away now from Austin Cedric.
Jeff, what I was going to say, one advantage they have in this stage racing, you and I didn't have stage racing, so he knows he only has 16 more laps on these rear tires to the end of stage 1. You can be a little more aggressive early.
Yeah, push hard. Stage racing has changed the way you attack these racetracks.
Oh, the 22 trying to get back down in line. Haley cuts him a break, getting down in the corner. Could have gotten the back of him.
Noah Gragson, Harrison Burton, 1 and 2. Then it's Cedric, Haley, and Allgaier in the top 5.
Oh, Chastain, a little contact with Allgaier. Be careful with Allgaier. He's already mad at you from last week.
Yeah, I think Chastain's had a few runs on him down the straightaway and just has been defensive of that position.
Remember, Noah Gragson came in 24 points below the cut line, and while he won't gain 10 on
Oh, the 8 car way up the racetrack in the middle of 3 and 4.
He is. He's all the way up in the asphalt.
Kissed the outside wall with the right rear quarter panel. Not too much damage.
Ryan Snyder goes by in the 21, but Jeff Burton in that 8, way up the racetrack. Now some more contact from behind him. He was running in the 9th position, and this is for the lead. Look at how Harrison Burton has reeled in Noah Gragson.
Harrison's strength right now is in the middle of the corner. He's able to really rotate right here to gain ground, but you're going to have to find a way to gain ground on corner exit. That's how you're going to have to make these passes. You can close the distance by carrying speed through the middle, but you can't make the pass. You got to make it on corner exit.
Sorry, Junior.
Both of these guys have a lot of super late model experience, short track racing experience. I think that Harrison's leaning on that right now. That's what we're seeing out of him. That speed and that 20 car is obviously going to be there, but Harrison, a great short track racer, putting the pressure on the 9.
Coming up on 10 to go to the end of stage 1.
So important right now. You think 10 laps is going to go by quickly, and it is, but you can hurt your tires in 10 laps. You cannot push too hard. Get the rear tires spinning, and it will cost you.
About a car length now separating the 9 and the 20 as they enter turn 3. Now all the way to the bumper for Harrison Burton.
Harrison.
Patience, Jeff, is what impresses me. You know, Junior, how Noah waits to get on the gas until he's totally straight. It doesn't allow anywhere for the 20 to go.
Yeah, the 20 rolls right up on him in the middle of the corner, but Noah gets on the gas and is able to pull away from Harrison on corner exit. If the pass is going to happen, that's where it's going to happen. Harrison hangs on to the back bumper of this 9 car on corner exit of turn 4.
Now it's just going to show him that he wants that, trying to kind of fake Noah into a mistake. Noah didn't fall for it.
Off turn 2, Noah stretches it out just a little bit, gains about a car length, gets a good drive off of turn 2.
Drivers, we've seen drivers put the bumper to someone if they're a little bit slower than them, and we're already seeing Austin Cedric close the gap back again for that 2nd position. When does Harrison Burton decide, hey, I've got to move this guy out of the way?
That's a tough spot to be in because Noah's sitting there racing for a playoff spot. Harrison's not, so Harrison's got to be a little respectful at the same time, be selfish for what's good for he and his team. Tough position for a driver to be in.
Pretty close there to putting the bumper to him as they were exiting turn 4. Brandon Jones in the 19, Justin Allgaier in the 7 down on the bottom of your screen.
20 cars right on the curb. He's tried a couple of high entries to be able to turn and get that low exit, low straight drive off the corner. I think that's what's going to be able to help him get around this 9 car.
Yeah, you mentioned it, Junior. The key right now is to try to enter a little bit higher than the 9 to improve your corner exit. Be straighter on corner exit. Just does not have the rear drive to be able to take advantage of it.
Another impressive run as we're watching this battle for the lead, but A.J. Allmendinger started this race in 34th, already up to 6th.
Fair to say this is one of A.J. Allmendinger's best tracks when he was running Cup Series. That's 21 Cup starts here.
Yeah, 2 times he finished 2nd. You see the 16, there's that fluorescent green 16. Laps winding down, though, as the battle continues for the lead. Harrison Burton just can't get around Noah.
3 laps to go. They're going to catch some lap traffic here very shortly. That's going to create some problems for somebody in this group.
Harrison really opened up his entry big time that time into turn 1.
Opened up his entry. Explain that.
Just turn later. Get to that curve later so that it improves your straightness leaving the corner.
They're at that lap traffic. Now, what will Noah do? He's the first one to catch him.
They're going to give him the bottom. They're going to make him go around the top.
Harrison's going to jump on the outside of Noah.
Trying to take the lead away. He goes to the high side. That opens the door for the 22, though. 1 lap to go in stage 1.
Harrison tried that a little too early.
Lap cars moving up the racetrack for race leader Noah Gragson.
A lot of traffic. A lot of traffic right here.
Last time through 3 and 4 for stage 1. Noah Gragson. Will he hold the 20 off? He does. He wins stage 1. 9th stage win of the season for Noah Gragson. Harrison Burton second. Austin Cedric is third. Chastain, we see Allmendinger up there in 6th. Brandon Jones, Justin Allgaier, Michael Adette, and Chase Briscoe all rounding out the top 10. Noah Gragson, Las Vegas native, wins stage 1. You're watching NASCAR Xfinity Series playoffs. The draft top 250 from Martinsville Speedway. Now tomorrow, it's Sunday Night Football on NBC. Ezekiel Elliott, the Cowboys are going to visit Carson Wentz and the Eagles. That coverage starting at 7 p.m. Eastern with football night in America. Jeff told me since we were in Virginia, it should have been Ezekiel Elliott.
Yeah.
Elliott.
He would know. South Boston, he knows. And now as we see the leaders take the left-hand turn to come down pit road, there's no place to hide on the racetrack. No place to hide on pit road. One of the tightest pit roads. You see how tight these corners are. Pit stalls all the way around the corners, Marty.
Yeah, Martinsville's a tough pit road, Steve. Austin Cedric actually apologized to his crew after leading the first 42 laps, giving up the lead. He said, that was my fault. They're too free to start, but good on long runs. Meanwhile, Noah Gragson, who won the stage, said, I need to roll the center better and have it to get back on the throttle a little bit quicker, Dave.
Justin Haley finished 5th. That's 6 stage points. He's currently above the cut line as they run right now. He's too tight, though. There'll be an air pressure adjustment for Goodyear tires and Sunoco fuel, Parker.
Ben Bayshore, the crew chief on the 20 for Harrison Burton, came on the radio and said it's too early to move people, referencing moving the 9 car, just too free in the center, and on exit, the 20 and Harrison Burton will win the race off pit road. Great stop by that team.
All right, take a look at the points that have been earned. Again, the top 10 positions, earned points, very important for especially a driver like Noah Gragson.
Yeah, I mean, Noah came in 24 points below. So by maxing out 10 points in this first stage, he's gaining on Ross Chastain, who only earned 7. Brandon Jones, who only earned 4. He's kind of chipping away at that margin. We said it didn't need to be a must-win. This is helping that cause that he can find a path on points.
From the start of the playoffs, we've been showcasing, obviously, all the playoff drivers and their quest to win a championship. As we head toward championship week next week, we're also celebrating Pit Crew All-Stars and their very special stories and talents. For one of those, let's go to Marty Snyder.
Yeah, Rick, it's really been fun introducing you to the Pit Crew All-Stars during the playoffs in 2020. Today, we'd like to introduce you to Brianna Daniels, the front tire changer on the number 52 team here in the NASCAR Xfinity Series. She's 6 years old from Virginia Beach, Virginia. And yes, last year she completed in the Titans games hosted by Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson. And not only did she play basketball at Norfolk State University, she graduated Sigma Cum Laude from her class with a degree in communication. And as you saw, she's the 2020 Drive for Diversity Crew Member Award winner and became the first African-American pit crew member in a NASCAR National Series race back in 2017. Brianna Daniels, our latest Pit Crew All-Star for 2020. Rick?
Thanks, Marty. We're going to continue showcasing Pit Crew All-Stars between now and Championship Week. That will be next weekend, telling their special stories. All right, want to take a look, Steve, on pit road. It gets a little tight.
Well, you see the 16 going to leave right here. That 19's trying to leave, and it's just space. Not a lot of space. Damage to the right front fender on the 19. We'll see another look at it right here.
Good behind the 7. Good behind the 7. Good to the wall. Good to the wall. Watch these guys. Watch these guys.
I mean, you know, at a big high-speed track, that damage would concern you. Here at Martinsville, I always joke, you might as well go ahead and just dent both fenders before you roll it out of the truck, because that's what they're going to look like before you get done regardless.
That's true. If he wasn't going to get it on pit road, he's going to get it on the track eventually.
Yeah.
In that situation right there, Steve, the crew chief normally will call the driver out of the pit box. And I think that the crew chief expected the 16 to go up higher than that, but he was underneath another car and couldn't get up higher. So he sent him out, and there was contact.
Yeah, this is the one place I hated that job of clearing my driver out of the pit box, Rick. Wasn't so bad on the front stretch, but where that happened through the corner, you just don't have good view from the top of the pit box. You're looking to your right, it's just a lot going on. Never like to do it here.
We had a couple cars here. J.J. Yaley and Sieg are going to start toward the front with everyone else there behind them who came to pit road. J.J. on the inside of the front row, Sieg on the inside of the second row.
And those two came to pit road earlier, so that's why now they stayed out under this most recent caution.
And I think a smart move by Sieg to pick the bottom. You're tempted to pick the top, but you know a lot of tires are coming from behind, so you got to play a little bit of defense.
J.J. Yaley in that 17 on the inside. Harrison Burton in the 20 on the outside. Stage 2 is underway.
Harrison did not get a very good launch there. We'll see if it costs him anything. Does a nice job, though, sticking with the 17 on the quarter panel.
Sieg a little bit sideways there. Might have had some help from Noah Gragson. Harrison's able to tuck into second. Here comes Gragson in the 9.
Up in front of them, Harrison to the inside here. Trying to take the lead away from Yaley. Off turn 2, side by side. Harrison giving him plenty of room.
He rolls the center of the quarter so much better. We'll see if he's able to clear him now as they exit 4. Sure enough, Harrison Burton out front at Martinsville. How patient will Noah Gragson be here with J.J. Yaley? He looks to the inside as they dive into 3.
He gave Yaley a little shot in the middle of 1 and 2 on corner exit there. Yaley's going to race him hard down the front straightaway. Cedric trying to get in there and fill that hole once Gragson goes through.
JJ sees them lined up. I mean, he just knows what's coming. There's not much he can do about it.
Haley's right behind him in the 11. Then Ross Chastain, Justin Allgaier, they're all lined up. Freight train. There's a train track that runs just along the back.
Oh, we got a wreck into turn 3. 3 cars piled up. The 90, the 99. I believe that's the 78.
Stephen Parsons in the 99. 78. BJ McLeod up against the wall.
Look at all that mud.
Yeah,
they went through the grass and the mud and brought it onto the track.
They got tangled up going down the back straightaway somehow and spun across pit entry, across the curbs.
Donald Teach in the 90.
And they have brought pit entry onto the racetrack with them.
Donald, a 54-year-old. This is actually his first start of the 2020 season.
See how this got started. Oh, little contact. Turns him sideways. Looked like Teague was trying to get left. Drove across somebody's nose. Turned himself around. A couple of guys come sliding into this.
Lucky it wasn't worse than that, really. Start wrecking down the back straightaway, and you expect much bigger contact.
Steve, have you got a broom?
Well, that won't be the first time we see some mud and grass drug on the racetrack. They'll clean that cleaned right up.
I wouldn't spend too much time on it.
They're going to have to. At least we believe they will. Under caution here for the 5th time at Martinsville.
Martinsville Speedway, home with some great racing. Been going on for years here. How about handsome Harry Gant, 3-time winner here. Won one race at 51 years old.
Jeff, when did they change the racetrack? That looked like it was 7 lanes wide when we were looking at that.
It looks so different, but it's not. I don't know why.
Pretty crazy. And it's a good look there. It almost looks like Harry Gant's car, doesn't it? That 02 of Brett Moffitt.
Yeah, close enough for me. They did a good job. I appreciate that. Going for the throwback outside of throwback weekend, man.
Yeah.
That's when you really appreciate the history of the sport.
And 2 for their truck looked the same way. I mean,
Well, how about Harry Gant? Saw that picture of him last night. He looks like said he won here when he was 51. He looks like he's 41 in that picture. Just taken the other day.
I wouldn't arm wrestle him still.
Yeah, Harry Gant. Handsome Harry Gant, they call him, School Bandit. For more on Justin Haley, Dave.
From having fun with paint schemes, how about having fun on the radio during the pressure-packed playoffs?
Remind me of my fans here after a while. I'll try to remind you so you can try to remind him. Have your engineer remind you to remind me to remind him. Copy that. Call an order.
These guys love to race, and Justin Haley right now. Those fans are important, right, guys? They keep things from expanding or contracting. And in fact, in one case, I believe it was Allmendinger's car, they were telling him not to turn the fans on because they wanted the rear end to be a little warmer, or the rear brakes, sorry, to be a little bit warmer, because that was causing some rear hop, wheel hop on the 16 car. So fans, very important and good to have a little laid-back attitude sometimes during the playoffs.
Yeah, basically, Rick, you don't want to ride around under yellow with your fans on. You want to shut them off to keep the brake. If you get them really, really cool and then hot and then cool again, you can damage them.
Steve, I mentioned you should grab a broom. Can you help out here?
I would have made the cars clean it. They're nicer than me. But we proved that last week.
Under a red flag condition, they're going to clean that little mess up in turn 3. And we'll be back underway in just a moment.
You just got to expect Martinsville at the end of the race. You're going to have some bumping and grinding.
Man, that got physical.
I never knocked him out of the way. We were going to race hard for it.
Martin Truex Jr. looking for a trip to Miami.
I knew it was coming. Everyone probably saw that it was coming.
Here comes Logano.
He shoves him up the racetrack.
A drag race, they're sideways.
Miami, baby. Yes.
Truex not happy.
They won the battle, but he ain't winning the damn war.
I'm a hard racer. I don't think that's a secret to anyone.
It was fair. I thought it was square.
He got chicken.
Cheap shot.
What goes around comes around.
This was our shot, maybe our only shot, so we had to make it happen.
There's a few drivers that are thinking that for tomorrow's race. That's right, another elimination race right here at Martinsville on NBC. The championship for who joins Joey Logano. That race coverage starting at 2 p.m. Eastern. Pre-race beginning at 1:30 p.m. Joey Logano has already won. He is in the championship for Kevin Harvick. Pretty good cushion there with 42 points. Denny Hamlin, Michael Jordan already looking forward to 2021 as they've formed a new team for Bubba Wallace. Brad Keselowski 25 points above the cut line. Again, the bottom 4 in points eliminated after tomorrow afternoon's race.
Yeah, and Rick, there's a comment there by Truex. He might have won the battle, but he wasn't going to win the war. But guess what? He did win the war. That's an example right there to go get you something, right? If you can go win this race in Martinsville, that can be a championship. That ultimately is what put Joey Logano in position to win that championship. And I think it wrote the rules and gave a permission slip to other people to try to do the exact same thing.
Let's go to pit road and Dave.
The car running 11th is Chase Briscoe, and remember, he is already through to the championship 4, so he told me today it's just about trying to get another trophy, that grandfather clock, and not making any enemies. His crew chief, Richard Boswell, is very familiar with the Martinsville Speedway, has raced here a lot himself in late models. In fact, a few years back, he raced for Dale Earnhardt Jr., and Jr. might remember the paint schemes they used to run out of the old late model shop there. Boswell ran very well here, following after his dad, Dickie Boswell, who was a famous racer from Maryland, and Richard knows how to call a race here, primarily because he's run a lot of laps here, Junior.
Yeah, Richard drove for us for several years in late model stocks here at Martinsville. He also ran the Pro Cup Series for us. Worked really hard, but eventually at one point in his life had to make the decision to get out of the race car and become an engineer, and then it's brought him here. One of the best decisions I think he's ever made. It's a tough one sometimes drivers have to make, is when the driving career may be over and it's time to focus in another area. And he's turned out to be quite the crew chief on top of the box of this 98 car. And future's very bright for Richard.
Still under a red flag condition. They're cleaning up the racetrack. The AMR safety team is out there getting rid of the dirt and mud that was brought out on the track on the most recent caution. We'll restart when we return.
I don't think Noah was attempting to run into him.
You sure?
Did that on purpose.
Oh, he slides in, catches the 7.
And he just dumped it.
Frustration here.
2020 has been just like that right there.
How do you do?
How's your race car?
Oh, and now they're really going at it.
Friday Night Lights.
Whoa!
And Noah around.
All right, you just turned in.
I don't get really mad. I get even.
Keeping my eyes peeled on these two.
And they're smashing in the backstretch.
Decides to hang a left because he's aggravated and wrecks the whole field. I don't deserve to drive this race car, to be honest.
Oh, boy. And look at this. Worst case scenario. Penalizing him for aggressive driving. That is a rarity.
Their world, their sandbox.
Unbelievable.
Stepping over the line a little bit with a teammate there, buddy.
The 10 turns the 16.
Coming to the checkers. What am I supposed to do? Just finish second?
And that was all on racetracks that weren't short tracks for the most part.
That was just this year. We didn't have to dig very far.
We're now on a short track. Harrison Burton's out in front, and Noah Gragson is running in second. So interesting between those two. They were the ones who were actually throwing punches at the end of one of the highlights there. Marty.
Hey, Rick, after the disappointing second place finish for Noah Gragson last week at Texas, many people thought they had to come into Martinsville and must win and needed to get to victory lane if they wanted to be in the championship 4. I tell you what, Steve, they came in minus 24, and Dave Ellens told me this morning, if we score 16 stage points in the first 2 stages, that was his goal, I think that opens up the playbook for us. Well, look, they won the first stage. They gained 10 of those 16, and they've already made up more than half of that gap, just 9 below the cut line where Gragson sits right now. So what do you think? Is Ellens correct? Maybe there is a points path for the 9, and maybe it's not a must-win today at Martinsville.
Well, I like Dave's approach and the way he lays it out. You know, his young driver, he gives him something to fight for in stage 1 and stage 2. Don't come into the race thinking you're backed into a corner. Go out, win, or finish first or second in either of the first stages and just kind of reassess. All right, who are we racing against? Where did they end up? How many points? They still may be in a must-win, but the young driver, the 9, doing a nice job, and he'll be on the outside again on this restart. So I like that. I mean, don't you think, guys, you don't want to tell your young driver, I mean, Dale Jr., he drives for Junior Motorsports, but you want your guy coming in here to run all day long. You don't want him to think he has to, the only chance is to victory lane, because it's really unfair and I don't think real.
Yeah, I think that you get better production out of the guy, not putting that much pressure on the driver. Especially, I mean, you might need to tell him that with 20 to go or 10 to go. Hey, by the way, we're in position to win. That's the only way we can get into the championship 4. But right now, I like that idea that they might be able to use the points to do it. You don't know what's going to happen to the rest of these guys in the point situation around you either. There's a lot of race left. They can find themselves in trouble.
I think that's a great point. I mean, this race is a long race. We talk about it being short, but when you're out there in that car, a lot of things happen. You just don't know who's going to get in incidences.
171 laps remaining. It'll be 170 when they cross the stripe here. 40 to go in stage 2. Harrison Burton on the inside, back into the gas first.
Noah's made this outside work on restarts.
Right, Sieg 3 wide back there, about 3 rows. We'll see if that works.
Noah drove it in so deep. If he can make that stick, he's going to make it work.
Led that lap. Let's see if he can clear him.
It all happened because of how far he was able to drive in the corner in turn 3. That's the second time he's gotten a lead from the outside.
Gragson back out front at Martinsville.
Boy, he slid a little bit right there.
Harrison Burton going back to work on him. Goes to the inside.
Racetrack a little dirty down in turn 3. Those guys are going to have to work that out of the racetrack. See what it does down here again, side by side down the back straightaway into turn 3.
Both back into the gas. Harrison Burton this time with the advantage.
Harrison does such a great job on corner exit right there, right against the curb. Good straight runoff. Little contact from the 9.
Yeah, Harrison showed him the bottom. Cannot show an aggressive driver the bottom like that. You got to cover it up.
Chastain. Man, he dove down into turn 3 under the 22. Very aggressive.
Aggressive driver showing the bottom. There you go, Jeff. That's what happens.
Haley's going to follow him in the 11. So Ross Chastain in the 10 clears the 22. Now Justin Haley. Here comes Allgaier in the 7 also. They'll try to freight train that 22 and keep him on the outside.
Great shot right here from Allgaier.
I think Cedric's going to follow in line. Plenty of room behind Justin for the 22 to settle in. Try to regroup, get back into a rhythm. This is a rhythm racetrack. You get a guy on the inside of you and you get trained by a few guys, you totally forget exactly what your car needs and how to drive this racetrack. You have to settle back in and find that rhythm. Repetition, doing the same thing lap after lap.
What a great ride and a view right here we're getting from Unilever, United for America. Movement by Unilever to provide care to those who need it most, support essential workers. This paint scheme actually designed by kids from Junior Motorsports family to honor the essential heroes who've impacted their lives. Unilever partnered with the Dale Jr. Foundation to help renovate and provide technology support to North Carolina area elementary schools. And if you want to get involved or if you want help, go to weareunitedforamerica.com.
Chastain right on the back of this 11 car. They're both putting pressure on Noah Gragson, who slipped to third. Chastain has got around Gragson and now trying to close in on the leader. 10 car of Chastain showing some great speed here.
Well, Chastain's good at this racetrack. Always ran well in trucks.
And doesn't it, I just feel like it suits his style. He's known for being aggressive, so I think that allows him to not need to be as aggressive, because I think people know it. So they see him in the mirror. So when he shows that bumper to the inside drivers, does it matter who's back there? Do you think you may, I don't want to say flinch, but give him a little more space, knowing that he perhaps is going to drive on in there if he sees a spot?
I don't know. I mean, everybody's different, Steve. Every driver approaches those things differently. You know Ross Chastain is going to be aggressive, so in some ways, that can make you run harder. It can actually try to make you get away from him. You see he's putting a lot of pressure on Harrison. Harrison's not able to put the car on the very bottom of the racetrack on corner exit. Going to have to get, there you go, going to have to get it like that on corner exit.
Chastain can get off the corner with the 20, but he's so good under braking. Entering the corner can really drive that 10 car deep into the corner and push, put the pressure on this 20.
Got to run right here. It's going to turn left, show it to him.
Harrison's going to have to give it to him here.
Here comes Chastain. Remember, as you see on the left side of your screen, Chastain right now is below the cut line. So a win here guarantees him a spot in the championship 4.
So this right here, we talked about it all day long. Harrison has a decision to make. Give that spot up, fall in behind him to keep him losing more spots.
And just like that, Justin Allgaier is now a point below the cut line, as you mentioned on the left side of the screen, Rick. Great to point out, before the pass, you see how much it moves when he does make that pass. I also want to point out on that foot cam, I think those are watermelon design shoes. That's pretty cool. I'm going to give him that. That's some good style. Yeah, look at that. Right watermelon there. Shoes, Dave. That's pretty good style out of Chastain.
Love the shot of the kicks there, and you can see what he's doing here, a lot like a road course. And they will have their teammate, A.J. Allmendinger, to thank for part of their setup this weekend. All 3 cars are identical, the team told me, the 10, the 11, and the 16. And the driver of the other car, Allmendinger, has finished here twice in the second, twice in the Cup Series. A very, very good input to get these colleague cars up front. Chastain now to the point. You can see the 16 is back in 6th. Haley in the 11 runs in 4th.
And Dave, that's a great point. I talked with A.J. Allmendinger earlier today, and I said, are there team orders? I mean, you see the 2 guys that are running to be in the championship. He said, well, I'm going to help them all I can, but at the same time, I'm here in this race to win. That's my goal. watching NASCAR Xfinity Series playoffs. The draft top 250 from Martinsville Speedway. Out front right now, Ross Chastain. The official app of NASCAR, it puts race coverage and live in-car cameras right at your fingertips. You can unlock the premium content today with a free trial to get access to driver and team radio.
Oh, we got some trouble.
Sure enough, the 5.
Oh boy.
Mills has got an issue there.
I believe he might have broken engine or something in the drive line. Car caught on fire.
Right in front of you. Roll a little bit or get out if you have to. Just get out.
Yeah, he's got the steering wheel off quick.
I suggest get out.
Stop and get out. You're on fire.
Never the most comforting word.
No, but I like the calmness of the spotter there.
Yeah.
Stop and get out. You're on fire.
Good looking helmet. I hate it for Mr. Mills that we're seeing it right now, but it's a good looking helmet. I'll give him that.
It's a Virginia driver looking for a good day in his home state.
Yeah.
I think, Junior, you might have called it drive line or something. You see the heavy, heavy smoke, and then it turns into fire. Oh, from up around the engine compartment.
Got to keep the smoke in, Steve.
Got to keep the smoke in is absolutely right. This is a very precarious timing for the yellow. The reason I say that is 15 laps to the end of the stage, so the playoff cars needing points, I think, must stay on the racetrack. They got to try to score the best they can at the end of the stage with 14 laps to go. But as you look out the rear bumper, 20 back there is the one I'm wondering. Harrison Burton's not in the playoffs. AJ Allmendinger not in the playoffs. Some of those non-playoff cars pit now and just stay out in 10 laps to try to get some track position. It'll be interesting to see. Still a lot of cars on the lead lap with 28, so.
And it could be a lengthy caution.
Yeah.
Yeah, if they've got to clean up any type of fluid that was put down on the track. We saw Matt Mills, a 23-year-old from Lynchburg, Virginia, able to climb in the back of the truck. He'll go to the infield care center.
And because of where he stopped, that's the pit commitment line you see right there, and the light is flashing red. It's not safe to open pit road. That's why NASCAR, they're going to have to move that car, get that oil cleaned up. You can pit, as this car is doing right here, but that'll be under penalty. That'll be pitting under a closed pit road.
Yeah, if you have to.
Yeah, if you have to, you have damage to do. But you noticed how slow that car was going. I will tell you from experience, if you are going to pit around safety workers, you better creep. NASCAR has it closed for a reason. They don't want you to put anybody in danger.
So again, another caution. It's the 6th caution of the race. This one, Matt Mills brings out a fire underneath that number 5. And right now, Haley in the 11 running in the 4th position, Dave.
And Rick, when you look at the playoff points there on the left, just +1 right now. So points very important for Justin. But listen to this recent radio transmission.
The motor's not running right. 10-4's all gauges look good. That's all good, but it's not. It doesn't sound good. All right, stay focused in there. We'll make up a plan here.
All right, so since then, there are some things a driver can do inside the cockpit to work things out. There's Alex Yantz. He is the crew chief and new dad, by the way, of the 11 car. He flipped the fuel switch. The pickup, there are 2 pickups in the fuel cell. He switched to the second one and said the problem went away. What do you think, Steve?
Well, so what I will say is that's a little surprising. Maybe they have a fuel pickup issue, but what doesn't surprise me is that they complain about how the engine runs. These don't have fuel injection like the Cup cars. These are old carbureted style cars, and the level of floats and such in the carburetor, Jeff, you know how sensitive this place used to be? Because it's so flat, and you accelerate and you decelerate, that fuel spills over and the cars load up, and when you step on the gas, it kind of like a car starting in the winter when it just doesn't run clean off every corner. So not surprising we're hearing some engine complaints. We'll have to see if it's something serious for the 11 or perhaps just a tune-up issue, as we see his crew chief right here making some notes.
The biggest issue with that from a driver's standpoint, assuming the engine is going to make it the whole way, is on new tires, you can use that engine. Like, you can use all the power. On old tires, Junior, it may not hurt you that much. In some ways, if you got a long run, actually being down on power could help you because it'll make the car drive a little better on corner exit.
No traction control in NASCAR, so you're saying that that's
right
almost
foot.
built in. That's built in a little bit there. If you have
foot.
Now listen, that's just positive Jeff trying to make something good out of this thing.
Traction control. Drivers get paid a lot of money to control the traction with their right foot. So big decision here of to pit or not pit. We're hearing a lot of different conversations. At 19 at one point said definitely pit, and now it's do what they, what the opposite do. So as we come down the backstretch, we see the green light on. As you mentioned, Rick, pit road is open. I think Chastain has got to stay out and try to go for the stage win, in my opinion. Gregson as well. But we'll have to see what everybody else does as they turn right here. Here's pit entry. Who's going to come in?
Harrison Burton does. Noah Gragson fakes it.
Yeah, the non-playoff cars, as we kind of predicted, they don't need points. So they're going to come in and get their tires right now.
So Harrison Burton, who has had a very strong car all race, is on pit road. AJ Allmendinger started in the back, has worked his way to the front, also on pit road. Dave?
And Chase Briscoe in the 98 in 13th position comes to pit road. Again, the only one guaranteed a spot in next week's Championship 4 finale in Phoenix. They believe that pitting here gives them a shot towards the next stage. They could go all the way on fuel, Parker. Whether they choose to, we'll see.
Right, one of your playoff contenders there, Ryan Sieg on pit road for flipping this stage. Also large adjustments. They had to put a packer in earlier in this race. They've had to make huge adjustments to this 39 car to try and get it in the zone there for Ryan. But not going to score stage points here, so taking the tires, trying to flip the stage. Also on pit road, you saw Harrison Burton doing the same thing, not racing for points. Therefore, they're flipping the stage, going to take care of these tires these last couple laps and consume the lead after they pit the stage break.
He had to wait until the longest line went by before he could get back out there. So, how many people take advantage of this Halloween race and make their way to the Championship 4? NASCAR on NBC is brought to you by Credit One Bank, the official credit card of NASCAR. It's perfect for race fans. And by Draft Top. Drink topless with Draft Top, an American-made experience. Let's listen in to the radio of race leader Ross Chastain.
And I can't take the top with him. No way. Don't trust him. Yeah, Tipper. I agree. So it's only going to get better. Always remember, 8 tires are better than 4, Holla.
There you go.
He was
Lean on that driver.
He was not going to let Noah Gragson on the bottom of him on this restart, afraid that Noah would get too aggressive with him. But we've seen Noah get the lead from the outside. So Chris Rice, general manager there at that team, said, hey, that 9 gets up on the outside of you. Use all 8 tires, meaning put your door on his and move him out of the groove.
Man, I might save that for the final stage. But, I mean, so I'm not disagreeing with the strategy, Jeff. I'm just, maybe the timing of the strategy is all I'm saying.
So Allgaier chose to go to that outside line. So did Moffitt. So it's Chastain, Haley, Cedric, Brandon Jones, Alex LeBay are all lined up on the inside. Marty.
Austin Cedric sitting in the 5th position right now, +9 above the cut line. A little concerned about the water temperature inside the 22 car pretty much all day long. They have struggled with it being way too high. Right now, +40, and all these caution laps don't help. So, Steve, you know, when they go back to green, that temperature should come back down, but does +40 start to worry you if you're Brian Wilson, the crew chief for Austin Cedric?
Well, you get a little concerned. As long as it still recovers under green, it reduces your concern. I mean, you see how slow they are. I mean, 35 miles an hour around here. They're creeping, and there's just no air going in. So you can pull all the tape off you want. I'm not sure it's going to help at these speeds. The big concern, Rick, is if it doesn't cool when you go back racing under green.
And we're about to do that. Ross Chastain on the inside, Noah Gragson on the outside. 10 and the 9. Right behind the 10, the 11 of Justin Haley. Those two are teammates at Colleague Racing. We'll see if they try to stay nose to tail and shuffle that 9 of Noah Gragson back.
Nice corner by Chastain to clear the 9 right there. That was a big move to get clear and use the entire racetrack.
And pinching down that 11 of Haley was the 9 of Noah Gragson.
Haley dives back down into turn 1. Can't quite get to the back of that 9 car. Top 4 settle in pretty comfortably down the back straightaway.
There's Brandon Jones in the 19, looking to the inside of Brett Moffitt in that 0-2.
Our new tires are kind of trapped back here, just inside the top 10 now. Don't think they're going to be able to get up here and take away stage points from some of these guys who need it.
But what did happen back there is the 16 of Allmendinger got by the 20 of Harrison. So if they stay like that, 16 will be the first car on new tires at the end of this stage.
3 laps to go to complete stage 2. There's that 16 of A.J. Allmendinger. Already success this year, 2 wins.
Noah's not letting his 10 car get away. Burying his car down in the corner, closing that gap up on Chastain. Really surprised by this. Chastain had so much speed before the caution came out, but Noah rolling that curb. Chastain, though, with a great exit off of turn 2, draws away.
Chastain has a ton of experience, a ton of laps. Cup cars, Xfinity cars, trucks, using all of that experience right now.
Back behind them, the 7 car, Justin Allgaier and Cedric side by side.
So look at the points on the left side. This is a final lap of stage 2. Haley +1, Allgaier -1. As they run, these stage points very important. 3rd stage win of the season for Ross Chastain. And so the number that Noah Gragson and their team said they needed to get to help them out in the first 2 stages was 16. They have earned 19 points today in the 2 stages. Teammates Ross Chastain, Justin Haley, they're working at it. They're trying to make it into the championship 4. Ross Chastain wins stage 2 here at Martinsville.
Back at Martinsville, pit stopped at the end of stage 2. Noah Gragson won stage 1, second in stage 2. He told Dave Ellens, keep the car just like it is. I like it. They're going to leave it. No changes for Gregson, Dave.
Middle of your screen, stage winner Ross Chastain. That's 10 valuable points down below. His teammate Justin Haley, 8 points for him. They'll both get adjustments. Haley needs help exiting the corner, and the 10 needs to be freer firing off, Parker.
Brandon Jones has scored 9 stage points across the 2 stages. Came to this race 4 points below the cut line, but currently that has not been enough. He has to find a little something and get that car freed up in the center if he wants to go and find himself in the championship 4 at the end of this.
Rick, next week, we talk about the Xfinity and the Cup Series Championship being decided. Well, it's also going to be decided for the NASCAR Coca-Cola iRacing Series Monday night, 9 p.m. Eastern on enascar.com for complete coverage from the virtual Miami Speedway. Michael Conti, Ryan Luza, Nick Otger, and Bobby Zielinski are the Championship 4 drivers. They're going to race for a purse of $300,000, $100,000 of which will go to the championship driver. Tune in Monday night, 9 Eastern on enascar.com for coverage. Myself, Parker's going to join me. Junior, Michael Conti, he's your guy, isn't he?
Yeah, Michael drives for Junior Motorsports, so we're excited to have him in the championship battle.
Did I hear that correctly? The winner of that race, this virtual race, gets $100,000?
100 grand.
Wow.
And don't think you're just going to jump on there and beat those guys because they are phenomenal.
Man, they're good.
Oh my gosh, how good they are.
It's going to be fun Monday night.
It's a racy little track on iRacing 2 Homestead. That's one of the best tracks to have a championship battle like that come down to.
And I'm telling you, it's life-changing. I called the championship race a year ago, and it really was amazing to just see the emotion when the checkered flag fell. It was so good.
Do they run the fence like we saw?
It's just like in real life. They run the bottom for a short time, and then as tires wear, they move right up, and they run, I mean, basically right on the fence. That's why I can't do it. That's many reasons why I can't do it. But it's great. It's fun.
We were wondering what the one reason was.
Mostly talent.
So A.J. Allmendinger, we had mentioned, come to pit road before the end of the second stage. And so now with fresh tires, A.J. Allmendinger, Harrison Burton, Riley Herbst, Jeb Burton, Ryan Sieg, Chase Briscoe, all guys that had come to pit road on lap 110.
Well, so that's the point, is we're going to show this choose right here, Rick. The guys that just were racing for the stage win, they're all the way back there in 14th, 15th, and 16th. So they might line up a little bit better on what lane they choose. But this right here is a big decision. We have seen long green flag runs here. So with well over 100 laps to go, everyone can make it to the end of this race on fuel. You don't have to come to pit road unless the yellow comes out and you put some tires. But there you go. There's Chastain, there's Noah, there's Jones. I mean, those are the guys that were just racing for a stage win. Now they are back in traffic. We know they have good cars, but patience, the right line, a little bit of luck, you need all that to get through traffic here.
Yeah, how important will those tires be? We're about to find out and see if they can make their way through this traffic once again.
And the problem is the cars in front of them were just on pit road, as you mentioned, so they don't have a huge tire advantage. Let's listen in to the Nines radio.
Now the fun begins. Everybody made their beds. All the excitement will start happening now.
Dave Ellens. I'll call that a pep talk. I like it. I like it.
123 laps remain in the race. Allmendinger, Burton, side by side, green flag back in the air. The 18 and 20 teammates of Joe Gibbs Racing right now fighting for that second spot. Harrison Burton on the outside, Riley Herbst on the inside.
See Jeb Burton in an 8 car. We saw him early in the race. Up in the wall. He got his lap backs in there battling for third.
He made contact with the right rear quarter panel of that car. They've been working on it, cutting it away from the tire, repairing that car, and now he's back in the top 3 here.
How about Ryan Sieg in the 39, a little aggressive there as he goes by Riley Herbst, but before banging the door, he gets past him. Here comes Myatt Snyder in the 21 as well.
Myatt Snyder and Jeb Burton both have run the late model race here an awful lot. They have a lot of experience. They both feel like this is a race they can win.
Look at the bottom of your screen, the 10 of Chastain, the 9 of Gregson, the 19 of Jones, just trying to work through traffic, but there's nowhere to go. Chastain's quicker than Yaley in the 17, but he just has to wait for them to get single file in front of him.
This is what scares you. These guys are racing for points. And they're going to have to go through all this mess. 3 wide. Brandon Jones trying to take advantage of it on the bottom.
Yaley in that 17 shuffled out, 3 wide. There, Allgaier bouncing off the inside car and the outside car.
Yaley almost he does get turned around.
Yaley around.
What a great job by the 11 of Haley. Haley and Yaley got me twisted up there, but a great job by Haley to avoid the spinning car of Yaley right in front of him.
Yeah, the contact was from Haley. I think that Yaley was trying to get away from the 3 wide situation that he was in. Came down across the right front of Haley, who was trying to stay in the center of that 3 wide action. Let's take a look here. So Chastain forces the issue, becomes the meat in the sandwich, and a little contact with the 7 down the front straightaway with Yaley. Then look at Haley trying to get in there and continue that 3 wide action. JJ must have been cleared by the spotter, get down into 1. Here's Haley riding on the nose, riding on the roof of that car.
Look how quick he had to make a decision. He sees, just felt like the 17 was going to stay up there. 17 came down, but look how close Haley got to having major damage right here. It's just racing to Martinsville.
Haley fighting for one of the championship 4 spots.
Yeah, I can't put that on Haley. I agree with what you guys were saying. He was going to follow the 7 through 3 wide. I almost don't blame Yaley as well. He know, man, I got to get down or I'm going to lose 20 more spots. And that's what happens, right? He makes an aggressive block. The 11 says, nope, I'm in there. And that's just short track racing. That's why the fans love this track. That's why it's a great race for this round in the playoffs.
Let's go for some stories. We'll start with Marty.
Rick, imagine being Noah Gragson. He has done everything he's needed to do to make it to the championship 4 today. 1 stage 1, second in stage 2, 19 stage points, and then he restarts 15th, as Steve mentioned, after taking on the tires at the end of stage 2, and is only able to gain 1 spot. His quote on the radio, Dave, it's a lot different back here in the back than it was up front.
Close call there, Marty, for Justin Haley, trying to race his way to the championship 4 next week. The team told him from the spotter up above that there's a little bit of a dent pushed in on the right front fender, maybe at 2 o'clock or so, but I don't think it's rubbing. So for now, Haley's day appears to be intact, running along in the 20th position now, Parker.
Well, for Harrison Burton, who currently is in second, last week he had the awesome pass, last lap, last corner on Noah Gragson to steal the win from a playoff contending driver. This week here, he's led 30 laps, been a fixture at the front. I asked him, how do you celebrate a win like that? He goes, I have a 24-hour rule. Whether I win or lose, I dwell on it or I celebrate for 24 hours. Then I focus on the next week. That's what I'm focused on here. And I think that's really working for him right now.
Yeah, Parker, we take a look at the Toyota driver update of Harrison Burton. Interesting that it's Halloween because, you know, normally you would put a costume on. Maybe it's a superhero. He says Dad is his superhero. By the way, it's a booth away from us. Said learned so much growing up, having obviously Jeff Burton as your father at a racetrack virtually every weekend, and he's taken advantage of it. 3 wins already in 2020.
I think that kind of goes into that 24-hour rule. It's easy to say, but when you grow up in this sport, you get to see the highs, but you also see the lows, and you realize that no matter how good you are, no matter what kind of season you have, it is going to be a roller coaster. And Harrison's experienced both, but just impressive. I felt awful for Noah. I thought he made just a small mistake in that last lap, but Harrison put the pressure on. He earned the win.
Well, and a reminder, I mean, in this sport, you don't have a winner and a loser. You have a winner and then 38 losers, more or less. You can only have 1 winner, and there's 39, 40 cars on the track every race.
Your pep talk was worse than Dave Ellens.
I think that was Steve's way of saying that Harrison watches Dad lose a lot.
That was the kind way of saying it. Let's listen into Ross Chastain's radio.
This is important to race where we lose all control of everything. I need you to take control of it, and we bring defenders like they are for a reason. Just be smooth, but like right now, what are we gaining by doing what we're doing? Just be smooth.
Like that. That was a polite way of saying, listen, you know, I know we're in traffic, and I know this is very tough as the pace car stays out. We're not going to go green this time. But as a driver, you know, you can't point your fingers at other people. You are in control of your own vehicle. The fenders are on there for a reason. There's going to be a time when you need to push on someone. Is this the right time? He didn't say yes or no. He kind of said, you're the driver. Right. I'm going to leave it up to you. But, hey, guess what? There's still 114 to go.
Look at the sun in Ross Chastain's eyes there. That's something a a little bit new for especially the Xfinity Series, since they haven't been here since 2006, but the start time here.
Yeah, the start time's late. We should remind the fans at home, they're just tuning in. They're, Xfinity Series, this is kind of the stepping stone to the Cup Series. Ross Chastain, one of those drivers. He will take over at Chip Ganassi Racing for the 42 car next season, so we know he will not be a full-time driver in the Xfinity Series.
As we're looking down from the helicopter here, aerial coverage brought to you by Geico. That's right, Ross Chastain, one of the drivers. Chase Briscoe, another one that will be moving up to the Cup Series.
I was trying to figure out whether Chris was encouraging Ross because, well, I mean, about 10 minutes ago he was telling him 8 tires stick better than 4. Right. and then he's like, whoa, 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 maybe you're taking that a little too literal. What do you think, Dave?
As a general manager, he oversees the 16, the 11, and the 10, and he was the first one hired at Colleague Racing. The shop is about an hour and a half from here, and he has been coming to this track since Jeff Burton was racing late models in 1985. He loves this place. He says, if any one of my cars, or all of them, get to the playoffs in the final round, you're going to see me get emotional.
Once up front, A.J. Allmendinger in the 16. He took the green flag first here. Harrison Burton's fighting now for that second spot. And Cousins are side by side on the racetrack. Jeb Burton on the inside, Harrison Burton on the outside. It would make for a very uncomfortable Thanksgiving if those two got into each other.
They're going to race hard, I can promise you that.
Jeb Burton, son of Ward, and of course Harrison, son of Jeff. The Burton Cousins continue to fight for that second spot.
Jeb going way up the racetrack in the middle of the corner trying to take that spot. And they're lined up on the bottom now.
And now Harrison has a little bit of trouble if he gets past. I kind of like what Jeb's doing. You don't have to push him up a full groove. Just 3 or 4 feet makes it a lot more difficult for the car on the outside.
Yeah, it allows that car on the inside to turn and get the straight run off to be able to use the throttle like he wants to. But a little contact right there between those boys. They're allowing the leader, A.J. Allmendinger, to get way out in front.
Ryan way up the racetrack right there. Ryan Sieg looking, trying to make it 3 wide. Jeb keeps opening that door.
I think Jeb's trying to back up here and let Harrison have the spot.
He's going to get it. So Harrison Burton second, Jeb third, and Ryan Sieg now settles into that 4th position. Right behind him, Myatt Snyder in the 21. I guess if we're going to go down family trees, we got to make sure to remind everyone that Myatt Snyder is actually Marty Snyder's son.
You see behind him the 18 of Herbst, and then you start to see the 10 of Chastain enter the picture. And you top your screen, that green and black number 10, that's Ross Chastain. We mentioned him, playoff car. On the left side of your screen, you see he's 5th at -2 points. 2 points are available, but he's thinking win. He's like, I can get up here and win this race. He has the freshest tires of everybody. It's still a lot of racing to go with 106 laps.
Well, look how close the points are, though. Allgaier sitting there in 3rd, only 7 points to the good. Brandon Jones in 6th, only 4 points out.
And Steve, you had mentioned earlier, they don't have to come back to pit road. Fuel-wise, they can make it to the end of this race, but it's the tires that could become very important if a caution comes out at the right time.
Yeah, when do you put your last set of tires on? When do you think you need to make adjustments? I know this is a beating and banging short track, but we have seen 50 or 100 lap green flag runs here. That's not out of the question at all. Now, I don't know about the Xfinity Series. It's been so long since it's been here. I don't think the notes are applicable anymore. In the Cup Series, though, we have seen that. Last night in the trucks, not so much. They barely could go 30 laps.
Allgaier to the inside, trying to get by that 51 of Jeremy Clements.
Very aggressive racing right here. Noah Gragson trying to make a move on Brandon Jones. Brandon did a good job a few laps ago to get back to the bottom.
Brandon very smart to allow Noah to have the room. I think Noah was going in there either way, so Brandon could have got himself turned around there.
And that's a difficult decision with the situation that he's in.
It is. It's hard to make. Still a lot of racing left for Brandon to come back and get those positions.
Oh, Noah improves that aggression you just mentioned as he gives a shot to the 51. Nothing out of the ordinary for short track racing. The 7, he looks like he's starting to grow a little frustrated with the 68. He's been inside of a couple times. The 68 with some aggressive blocking into the corner. Once again, the 7 rolls right up to his rear bumper. He's going to leave the corner right. Oh, nope, slips the rear tires this time.
Now Brandon Brown moves down the racetrack.
Oh, I don't know about that. That was...
Yeah, how much contact was made there as Brandon Brown up the racetrack now. Here comes Allgaier.
Well, if you're an Allgaier fan, enough contact was made. If you're a Brown fan, it was too much contact. And that debate will be every lap, every time you come to Martinsville.
Dawson Cedric in that 22 car behind Noah Gragson. He's just wanting a clean race today. He's pretty good in points. He's had a really good year. He's one of those drivers that wants to leave here with all the fenders on the car. No issues. If he has no issues, he's probably going to move in to Phoenix with a chance to win the championship.
Chris Rice gave the kind of pep talk, I guess you would say, to Ross Chastain. He's the one with the newest or freshest tires. He's made his way up to 7th now. Parker.
Well, guys, we mentioned it. What a great run for Myatt Snider in that 21 car. You know, he's been in a couple runs there as you see him get a little loose. Riley Herbst looking inside. That team has used an alternate strategy here to get towards the front after starting 22nd, but also leaning on Myatt's experience a little bit as these two get very close together. We mentioned short track experience can really help. He has that here. He has 6 late model starts here where he feels like 1 or 2 of those he probably should have won. 3 truck race starts, never finishing worse than 6. He said this is one of his favorite tracks that he comes to and was hoping the 10th one would be the charm here starting the Xfinity Series. He's looking pretty solid right now, holding off Ryan Herbst there in a great battle.
A lot of times when you see a gap in front of a car, the one behind it thinks, well, I need to move you out of the way because you're slowing me up as we go NASCAR nonstop. Just 88 laps to go. The NASCAR Xfinity Series playoffs draft top 250 from Martinsville Speedway. So you can get into gear for race day. Check out the greatest selection of t-shirts and hats and die-cast and much, much more. For all your favorite drivers, just visit NASCAR.com/shop to get that. Myatt Snider still in front of the 18 of Riley Herbst as the traffic building here. Ryan Sieg in the 39 just in front of Myatt. Still out front, A.J. Allmendinger. He's got an 0.8 of a second lead over Harrison Burton. Jeb Burton running third. Ryan Sieg is fourth. And then, of course, that battle for fifth. Myatt Snyder holding it right now.
This is where all the action is right here. From Jeb Burton all the way back to Cedric. A lot of positions, all nose to tail. Just beating and banging. Chastain in the 7 car trying to work around some of these cars in front of him. Chastain on the 18 into the back of the 21. Just in front of these guys.
So how patient? At what point in time is Riley Herbst going to say, all right, I've had enough. I'm ready to go by?
Well, I think, you know, this racetrack kind of is acceptable to beat on each other a little bit. And that guy in front of you can move, or he can get hit some more. You can hit him hard enough to move him out of the racetrack or up the groove.
Well, it's also part of what it takes to win here, right, Junior? You have to come into this race knowing you're going to get hit, knowing they're going to rub on you, and don't lose your temper over it.
That's right. That's right.
Hey, Dave, we've been hearing some things out of the 11. Have they figured out what's wrong with that car, or is there anything wrong with it?
Well, let's listen to the latest from the driver, Justin Haley.
Water is running like oil temp and water temp are pegged. All right, 10-4, keep us posted, do the best you can.
He's been keeping them posted. The water temps have stayed steady, although pegged is not a good place for him to stay steady. Maybe coming down just a little bit. And as you see him working on the back of the 98 of Chase Briscoe, he's got to keep where he is or improve. Remember, you see on the playoff leaderboard, he's just above the cut line, 6 points to the good as they run. But the handling isn't good either. When he exits the corner right there, he says the right rear wants to skip out from underneath him. Haley's having a tough drive here as this battle continues, Rick.
Yeah, Ross Chastain shoving the 18 right there, and that put him to the inside of the 21. Myatt Snyder could be the victim of circumstance here if he's not able to stay in front of that 18. The 18 almost got into him, but it was with help from the 10.
Yeah, I was going to say, and to Chastain's defense, I think he was getting pushed by the 7. All of these cars realize with 80 to go, we may not see another yellow. We may not see another pit stop.
Take care of that right front fender.
This is Martinsville.
And you see that 18 crowd the 10 on corner exit. How much longer?
Oh, contact with a 7.
Yeah. How much longer will there just be contact before one of these guys gets sent around?
Well, now Chastain's going to get picked behind the 0 lap car. No, he's got to squeeze in there 3 wide.
Chastain trying to stay in front of Noah Gragson. Gragson put the bumper to him, and now smoke coming out of the 10. A little bit of brakes there.
Yeah, he locked the left front up, sliding down into turn 1. Chastain draws away from that 9 car, gets him a little bit of room.
Now, Allgaier knows there was contact with the 10 to go by, so I'm sure he's going to be a little less patient with the 18 and the 21. Here goes the 18. He's finally on the inside of the 21. Myatt ties the block.
Contact was made.
They've been running in each other lap after lap. The 18 trying to get by this 21.
And Myatt Snyder, yeah, he just got blocked.
Yeah, Myatt's going to have to settle in here behind the 7.
But now how patient will the 10 of Ross Chastain be? He's below the cut line now. 7 points below the cut line for Ross Chastain in the 10.
I don't think patience is going to happen. Ross Chastain, actually, I thought his impatience got him in trouble right there. He got into the back of the 18. He could have just rolled with the 18 and passed the guy that 18 was trying to get by, and he decided to get into the back of him, and it actually cost him some spots.
Yeah, car that's lap
They
time.
get a lot of brake cover, even from the right rear.
Comment about brakes right there. I was getting ready to say the 7 of Allgaier has really found some good pace as we check in with the leader of the 16. He's been run down by the 20 of Harrison Burton, Rick.
Here comes Harrison.
And these guys are almost a half a lap in front of 3rd place.
And Jeb Burton's 8 seconds behind them right now as they're working their way through traffic. A.J. Allmendinger in the 16, that fluorescent green, number 16. Nutrient Ag Solutions on the hood.
Wow, look at there.
Dex Imaging, the 20.
Chastain.
Harrison Burton, here he comes.
2 crazy battles going on the same screen. Chastain getting moved out of the racetrack here. He's slow holding these guys up.
Harrison Burton bumping into the back of A.J. Allmendinger there. How hard will he fight for this lead? Harrison, just 20 years old in his young career, hasn't been able to go back-to-back with wins. Could he do it from Texas to Martinsville?
On the right-hand side, that's what you were mentioning, Junior. There's the 10 trying to stay in front of the 22. The 22's inside him. Contact with the leaders.
Short track racing, you have to love it. Something happening all around the track.
Chastain backing up.
Yeah, he's struggling, Jeff, on those tires.
This is by far the longest we've run on a set of tires. Only 41 laps, but we haven't been anywhere near here so far. People don't know what their car can and cannot do in a long run.
A.J. Allmendinger was able to put a little bit of gap there between the 16 and the 20, but now Harrison Burton, because of this lap traffic, is able to close the gap again.
The leaders are about a half a lap ahead of the battle on the left of the screen.
Oh, Harrison drove in deep right there.
Almost trying to take that top spot away. A great run he had on the backstretch. What will he do here going into one?
It's going to be hard to outbrake A.J. Allmendinger. A really good road racer, knows how to use those brakes.
This lap traffic's going to play a role in possibly slowing down the 16 car.
There's another run. And Harrison continues to show himself to the left side of that 16. Cautions come out. 74, sparks flying from underneath that car for Bailey Currie.
And he had been in the fence earlier
Yeah,
today.
hit pretty hard over there, Michael.
Contacted the wall again, I believe, down in turn 1 and 2, maybe off the corner, off the exit of turn 2.
Use right side zone. If he's got it, you can.
The right side, at least that right front, too much suspension damage, excuse me, there, for the 74.
It's killed.
I concur. That one is not going to be repaired. 68 laps to go. I expect to see the leader's going to have to make a decision if they're going to come to pit road or not. I assume they're going to want to. Let's take another look. Oh, man, looks like something either broke or a flat tire sparks. Wow. And straight up the racetrack. Good thing nobody was to the outside of him. He was coming up regardless.
Yeah, you'd think that at a short track, even though crashes here aren't too violent, but man, some of the hardest hits that you can have in your career could be at a place like Martinsville.
He tries to get it behind the wall and into the garage. We'll be able to do it. And so now, Steve, they were on the track 44 green flag laps on those tires. Again, you guys had mentioned longest green flag run. Allmendinger, Harrison Burton, Jeb Burton, Ryan Sieg, Allgaier, all top 5 up here, and all on pit road. Marty.
Rick, I tell you, the fastest car for much of that run was Justin Allgaier. He told Jason Burdett, man, you made the car so much better. It's back to how it was on the first run. They're going to make no changes, 4 fresh Goodyear tires. And he also noted, man, tires are worth something as they tried to make their way through the field, Dave.
The 10 car running 11th. Sideways entry and exit, plowing the center. The driver not happy. Gets the windshield cleared. 4 tires and fuel and adjustments, Parker.
Harrison Burton ran down the leader. A.J. Allmendinger there and came on the radio after the caution came out and said, car is really good, as you can tell, and he will win the race off pit road, beating the 16 of Allmendinger.
So a big run for Harrison Burton, and pit road gets him the lead. This race sets up next Saturday. It's the NASCAR Xfinity Series Championship race at Phoenix. That race coverage beginning at 5 p.m. Eastern on NBCSN. The 4 drivers will be determined today as we see the choose rule coming into play once again. Harrison Burton got off pit road first, so he was first to choose. He chose the inside line.
I don't know, Rick. Something just, you get that feeling, kind of comes across. There's 62 to go drivers. We've seen some pushing and shoving, but relatively polite at the front. I think everyone's put on a fresh set of tires. I think the politeness is getting ready to go away.
Well, here's the reality of the situation. Ross Chastain sitting there in 5th, but still 8 points back. Brandon Jones, 8 points back. Noah, 17. These guys have to make something happen. They know it. Tick, tick, tick. Feel it coming.
So what you're saying is tempers, aggression?
Well, aggression first, temper
intensity?
second. Yeah, aggression, then tempers.
Patience. Patience goes out the window first. Patience always goes out the window.
Patience gone. Getting ready for the restart. There'll be 61 laps to go. Harrison Burton on the inside. A.J. Allmendinger on the outside.
Watch A.J. try to drive it down in the corner. He's so good under braking.
Almost looked like a little contact almost made there as they went into one.
If there isn't, then Harrison's not doing it right. He needs to be up right into the door of Allmendinger.
Got a good run off the corner right there. AJ's going to have to drive it in the corner deep. Right here, trying to carry the center speed. If he can carry that center speed, he'll have an advantage on that back straightaway. There it is.
They fight from the outside. Allmendinger has the lead there, but just by a foot. Harrison still fighting on the inside.
I thought Harrison had a big advantage right there, but he lost grip, leaving 2. Now AJ's got the advantage.
Fighting back on the inside, into the curb, into the bumper.
Seems like the outside has a little bit more of an advantage at this end of the racetrack off the exit of 2. We'll see if it happens again. The 16, there it is. A good launch off the exit. Unable to clear the 20, though.
Harrison fighting back on the inside.
You mentioned to Steve, this end of the racetrack seems to be better on the bottom. Contact right there that hurt Harrison.
It's good work by Allmendinger to run the top, get that little mini diamond and squeeze the 20 down. You see a donut on the door of the 20. There it is. That's racing. 57 to go and a half mile. You're going to have to push and shove.
This has been a big year for A.J. Allmendinger. Coming in, it was always known that A.J. Allmendinger was a great road course racer. And the first win that A.J. Allmendinger got this year was not on a road course. It was actually on an oval, and that's one of the things he celebrated. When he got out, he said, yes, I've won on an oval. And now leading here at a short track.
New player in the field. That 7 car, Justin Allgaier. It's the highest he's run all day. It's the first time he's really had clean racetrack where he can just focus on his race car. He's been in the middle of chaos the entire time.
Back there behind those guys, behind the top 5, the 18 and the 39 side by side, right in front of Ross Chastain. Chastain right now 9 points out of the final round of the playoffs. Has to do something to get some points. He's going to shove this 18 down in the corner. They're going to get contact between the 2 drivers in front of him.
When do the words of Chris Rice go out the window and you actually do want to maybe use the fenders a bit?
They're gone. Those words are gone. Although I'm impressed, Chastain's patience right here, 53 to go, 2 wide in front of him. He had a chance to kind of take it 3 wide, but he didn't do it.
Back up front, battle for the lead.
Here comes Harrison. Gets the nose down inside the 16. A.J. Allmendinger can't close the door. Harrison with a great run off of 4.
Wow, it's A.J. got an issue.
I think the left rear
he's got a problem.
Left rear flat, guys.
Yeah, the left rear tire, you see no Goodyear left on the left rear.
And it's down. He's coming to pit road.
We talked about the contact between Allmendinger and Burton. Well, the right side tailpipes would be right around where the left rear tire is on A.J. Allmendinger. You got to assume some contact there. Cut that tire. Marty.
And a moment ago, right behind him, Justin Allgaier said, hey, tell the 16 he has a left rear coming down. Now he's heading down pit road to get that service, but obviously for A.J. Allmendinger, who dominated the late part of this race, a frustrating end to it.
Well, as one call-it car heads to pit road, another call-it car, the 10 of Chastain, continues to try to battle. He's inside the 18 right here.
Yellow stripe on the bumper, that 18 shows rookie status, but Riley Herbst has been winning, or has been learning all year long, as the 10 of Ross Chastain does get by now.
Yeah, that makes Ross -8 to the cut line, -7 now, just to run down those guys in front of him.
You see the tire, and you see, it's hard to say what cut the tire. You see obviously the big gouge and all that, but that can be from riding around when it's flat. It appears, though, at some point in contact is something, that's why the Goodyear is missing. I'm going to have to say it happened when he was racing with Harrison. So we talked about running him down the racetrack, and I'm about this. This is fine. This is racing. It's just unfortunate. You see where his left rear donut is, right behind the tube, or right below that tube is the right side tailpipes. That will cut a left rear tire. Dave.
And Steve, this car does not run all the races, and you may wonder why they ran today at Martinsville. Well, certainly that grandfather clock for a trophy is one big thing. Matt Colleague would like that. But it was also to keep points from other drivers. Yeah, a little bit of a block by the team if they could keep Allmendinger up front there. That's now gone, and AJ's role here, unless he can get these 2 laps back, has really diminished. So that's why they were here today. It didn't quite work out, but a strong day up until then.
Out front, the 20 of Harrison Burton now has Allgaier running in that second spot, but he's got about a half a second lead over him. That's going to go away pretty quickly, though, as the 20 of Harrison Burton catching up to the lap traffic. We'll go NASCAR nonstop. You won't miss a thing. Harrison Burton continuing to lead at Martinsville. 0.8 of a second lead over Allgaier, who's in that 7 right there behind him. The 10 of Ross Chastain and teammate the 16 of A.J. Allmendinger, but Allmendinger a couple laps down now after having to come to pit road after relinquishing that top spot because of a cut tire on the 16. Dave.
Coming into today, I talked to crew chief Bruce Schlicker about what the 10 and Ross Chastain needed to do. Finish. They have to finish. Well, they've got that accomplished, but now he needs
we got a
points.
crash in turn 3. Mike Snyder spun around on the nose of Brandon Brown. I think Brandon had a little bit of help down into the corner, but contact sends the 21 car up the racetrack.
Back up, check up. Gas it up, gas it up, gas it up, gas it up. Hard, get in front of him.
Left rear damage to the 21. And is he on a little bit of a mission here? Look at him.
He's just trying to save a lap, get in front of the 20 right here before the pace car picks him up. I think it's his plan.
Yeah, you'll see that a lot in late model races.
We gotta go behind the 90.
Yeah, they'll try to get in front of the leader to get a lap back, but it's kind of hard to do here. There's too many timing and scoring devices.
Well, and you have to maintain a cautious pace when you're in the caution.
So now, Steve.
Oh man, I was just asking Steve under the last commercial break.
He grabbed Tums, by the way, guys. I just wanted to let you know.
I was like, if the caution comes out, what do you do?
With 25 laps on my tires, the bigger issue is 36 laps. So let's take another look at what happened. You called it live there. The 21, he's backwards up the racetrack. You know, if I'm Harrison Burton, I'm going to have a hard time giving up the lead with 25 laps on my tires because I don't expect to see 35 green flag laps for the finish of this race. If the truck race is any sort of idea what's going to happen tonight, I don't think they ran 5 or 6 green flag laps in the last 30. So if I'm Harrison, I'm staying on the racetrack. If I'm Allgaier, I'm staying on the racetrack. The question is, what about Chastain or Gregson, cars that perhaps are thinking they must win, or a Haley? Will they think that tires are their best plan? With 21 laps to go, I think I have to stay out, but someone back here is going to pit. Let's see who the first taker is. Nobody yet.
Wow, I am surprised.
Brandon Jones says, hey, I need to win. I'm coming.
Good call, I think, by Brian Sieg and Brandon Jones.
Love it. Love the call.
I'm surprised that the 10 car Chastain didn't take that risk.
I just think they're all gambling on not a lot of green flag racing. I just don't think 35 laps. I bet we only see 15 laps of green flag racing.
Parker.
Well, for both these playoff contenders, the 19 of Brandon Jones, and you saw the 39 of Ryan Sieg coming down here to get 4 fresh tires. They were basically in a position where they need to win this race, especially for Ryan Sieg, who at this point is 50 points out of the cut line. The 19 of Brandon Jones was 11 points below the cut line when he pitted here for these 4 fresh tires. He has a slim chance of doing it on points, but getting these tires now and trying to use those to the best advantage to get those points, put themselves in the championship 4.
Quick off of pit road. We'll have a restart when we return to Martinsville. It's the draft top 250 for the NASCAR Xfinity Series playoffs from Martinsville Speedway. 4 drivers will be a part of the championship 4 from this race, and tomorrow the 4 drivers will also be determined. Joey Logano already has a win, so he's into the championship 4. Countdown to green starts at 1:30. We're on NBC tomorrow from Martinsville. Of course, NASCAR America Post-Race Show will be on NBCSN after the race. They'll talk about the 4 that will be fighting for the title for both the Xfinity Series and the Cup Series.
Big decision right here. I'm confident Harrison takes the Burton or the bottom. Allgaier takes the top. A little surprising. I thought he would go to the bottom.
Chastain went to the bottom. Going to give up a full row. I like that pick from Allgaier. Here's why. Harrison has not kept the lead on the bottom. His car seems to be better on a long run than a short run. He's lost the lead on the bottom a couple times. So if I'm Allgaier, I've been paying attention to that. I'm going to go try to do the same thing.
All right, so I don't like it because Allgaier's plus 14, and he doesn't need to win this race. I think the best thing he could do is try to start at the bottom, right around the curb, and not let someone else in his left rear, someone like Gragson or Chastain. Not on purpose, but just hard racing. Easy to slide up and make contact, and only the future will tell us.
Well, and
right.
the 10 and the 9 are both below the cut line right now, so both will be very aggressive to try to get by that 7. We'll find out. It'll be 30 laps to go from Martinsville. Harrison Burton, Justin Allgaier, 1 and 2 as they go into turn 1. Good launch coming off of 2 for Harrison Burton. Allgaier stays right on his door.
Allgaier has a decision to make quickly. If he thinks he can get this lead from Harrison, he needs to go for it. If not, if he comes off turn 2 and does not have a good run, he's trying to fill that hole behind Harrison.
That's what it's going to do right there. The 7 gets him behind the 20.
Now they're nose to tail. Burton, Allgaier, and Gragson.
I was going to say, mission accomplished, Jeff. You were right. That worked well for the 7. He had a chance to take the lead and fell in line in second.
He had what he has behind him now, though, is Noah Gragson. Noah Gragson is in a situation where, look right there on the side, 16 points back. If he wins this race, he advances into the playoffs. Noah is going to be extremely aggressive here.
Well, and he's already proven this year he's going to race his teammate aggressively. Now with his entire season on the line, I don't think it would be any different. If the 9 does get to the bumper of the 7 or the inside bumper of the 7, you ask yourself, how hard will Allgaier fight, or will he concede if the 9 gets to that position?
Yeah, I feel like the 7 had run the 20 down a little bit before that caution came out. I'm not sure he's not a little bit faster right now.
Allgaier very aggressive on the throttle. Back of the car stepping out. How long can he continue to be that hard on those rear tires with 26 to go?
And Dale, Noah Gragson sitting in
up a little bit.
Exactly. Noah Gragson sitting in third knows that his only path to the championship 4, he must pass his teammate and Harrison Burton. When I sat with Noah this afternoon, I said, what are you not willing to do to put yourself in the championship 4? He said one word, nothing. Noah Gragson will do whatever it takes and even move his teammate if that's what it takes to get to the championship 4.
I think that's fair. I don't think you can go in and hit your teammate in the left rear and spin him out, but I think a square shot to the rear bumper, move him up a lane and drive inside him, that's Martinsville racing. We have seen it time and time again, and I think Allgaier has to expect it. He knows where his teammate is, but right now, they have to worry about the 20 first.
Well, Noah's going to have to catch him. That's the one thing that's happening is we're riding along with Allgaier. What a great shot again from Unilever. We appreciate that helmet cam. But right now, Noah Gragson, he hasn't been to the back bumper of the 7. He's not able to get there yet to put that pressure on him.
And Justin's trying to close the gap on the leader, Harrison Burton, but Harrison's doing a really, really good job of slowing the car down, getting it turned, getting right to the curb for the corner exit, and getting a straight, good drive off. Lap after lap, he's taking much better care of his tires running that line. Allgaier, the 7, rolls in on the curb and rolls fast through the center. He really pushes his tires and leans on his tires a lot on corner exit.
I could be down at New Smyrna watching the World Series of Asphalt. I've seen Harrison Burton do this lap after lap after lap. This little baby diamond kind of take care of those tires, as Junior pointed out.
Look at the drive off of the corner the 20 car gets. Just drives up a little bit high in the middle, turns, runs off the bottom straight.
So here's Brandon Jones. Remember, he was on pit road, put on tires. He's driven up right now to 10th place. Michael Annette right in front of him. Michael also pitted and put on tires.
Chastain gets around the 8 of Jeb Burton for 4th place.
All right.
Nice recovery for Jeb. Sorry, Rick.
Yeah, guys, put me inside the helmet here. Race leader Harrison Burton. He has less than 20 laps to go. His car looks like it's a winning car. How nervous are you that you can't make a mistake here at this racetrack, knowing a grandfather clock is sitting out there for you?
I think the biggest thing is that the 7 car of Justin Allgaier has been able to stay right there with him. So that means Harrison knows he can't make a mistake. He knows the 7 car is good. So that actually in some ways makes it a little bit easier because it makes you focus a little more, Junior.
Yeah, as I'm watching, I think if I'm on the box of that 20 car, I feel pretty confident running the line he's running. He's taking care of those tires. He's going to have good tires all the way to the end of this race, where I think the 7's really working hard corner after corner. I don't know if he can keep that up for the remainder of the event.
So for me, Rick, it really comes down to lap traffic. 17 laps to go. Harrison Burton is going to catch the back of this field. Mostly ones and twos, not a lot of heavy racing. You see those few cars that pass in front of him. The big thing is, I think that actually helps the leader as long as it gets through clean. Just don't catch him in the wrong spot. Unlike a mile and a half where it's so momentum, you kind of catch him where you catch him. Here at Martinsville, if you know you're going to catch a guy, give a little up on entry so you pass him on exit. You know, time those lap cars correctly. I believe Harrison has that ability. Parker.
Guys, I think this could potentially be an emotional win if he's able to hang on here for Harrison Burton. You know, he was quoted recently saying that he loved coming here as a kid because when he came here, it was like a family reunion. He got to see his grandparents. He watched you, Jeff, race. He loved doing that. He saw Jeb race his truck. He even mentioned that how winning at South Boston, Virginia, and K&N meant so much to him because he had his whole family there. And then coming here, he really wanted to recreate that feeling and felt like the way to do that was to get into victory lane. So as he pulls away here from Allgaier, I got to think he's got to be a little emotional inside that helmet right now.
Justin Haley losing a few spots here to a few cars. The one car of Michael Annette got in the back of him down in turn 3, sent him up the racetrack. The 22 goes by. The 39 is now in the back bumper of that 11 car. Look at the points. Getting pretty tight here as the 11's fading late.
This will put it down to 4 if Sieg takes that spot. Now it's just 4 points that separate them.
16 behind him is his teammate a few laps down. The next car for position would be the 02. Brett Moffitt and then Clemens.
13 laps, coming up on 12 laps to go.
And a lot of green flag, 18 laps right here. I thought we were going to see more yellows. They're doing a nice job of racing clean.
Nerve-wracking for Justin Haley. Sitting there 4 points to the good. Seeing the guys that he needs to keep in his sights. Seeing them right in front of him.
Yeah, I think he's in pretty good shape.
Especially with A.J. Allmendinger behind him, because Allmendinger a couple laps down, but now on fresh tires or a little fresher tires.
Yeah, Justin's probably not going to get passed by the cars behind him. And I don't think that the 10, who's 5th in points right now, can go up there and win this race without a yellow.
And Ross Chastain would have to do just that if he wanted to gain enough points. He's running 4th, not enough points available to him. And their teammates, both of them running from Colleague Racing. Under 10 laps to go. There's Ross Chastain in the 10.
You have to believe there's something going to happen to bring out a late yellow.
It always does.
You just never get out of here that easy.
Ross Chastain looking at the inside of the 47 now. Getting lap down cars. Harrison Burton almost a second lead over Justin Allgaier. Such an impressive race put together by the 20-year-old. Won a week ago at Texas in amazing fashion. The last corner pass on Noah Gragson coming out of turn number 4, made the pass, won the race at Texas, and now 7 laps to go at Martinsville.
Heavy traffic in front of the 20. They were 1s and 2s. Now there's a line of cars lined up. Shouldn't be an issue with the speed of his car. You just hope these guys stay single file. And as I say that, they go too wide in front of the leader.
You're screaming, tell them to get out of the way. And Spotter's like, they're not listening anyway.
Nope. So now what's Harrison do? Does he stay in line? There you go. There's 1. He's going to have to work inside this 90 off the corner, though. He doesn't want to hang another set of corners behind him. Does a nice job. Turn to the bottom. That was that timing, you know, Rick.
Yeah.
Patient through the middle, knew he was going to catch him on corner exit.
Less than 5 laps to go. Allgaier's still there. 0.8 of a second back. There's that 7.
Yeah, Allgaier's going to push the issue through these lap cars. These lap cars will give the leader a little bit more of a hard time. See, Justin made up a little ground.
And we saw from last week, it's not over until they get to that checkered flag. Harrison Burton's got to fight these last 4 laps. Allgaier trying to close the gap. If Allgaier gets to the back bumper, what will he do?
Well, Allgaier's in an interesting situation because he's pretty safe right now. You know, his main goal, obviously he wants to win this race, but his main goal is to advance to Phoenix, where a racetrack, perhaps he's the favorite. He's always so good there, so he may not want to force the issue.
I agree. I think you put the mittens on right here and you say, you know what? It was a great run, but we did what we needed to do.
There's a record on the line. 2 laps to go. Jeff Burton, do you know who the youngest driver ever to win at Martinsville is?
I do not.
It's you. You were the youngest driver. Your son is about to break your record if he can hang on for another lap and a half.
It's funny because you always tell me how old I am.
Well, it was a long time ago when you got the win. White flags in the air. One more time around for Harrison.
Lines of lap traffic right here.
Down into turn 3, Harrison's in good shape. Doesn't have to put the pressure on these lap cars.
Harrison Burton out of turn 4. He'll go back-to-back with wins.
Oh, yeah, 2 in a row.
The youngest winner at Martinsville ever. 20 years and 22 days. Harrison Burton breaks his father's record of the youngest winner. And Jeff, what a great time to chat with him.
Hey, Harrison, it's your old man, bud. How you doing?
What's up, Dad? That was pretty awesome.
Well, congratulations, bud. How'd you pull that off?
A great race car. I don't know. I got the best team in the garage, and we believe that. I'm about to do something you never did. It's a nice little burnout here. Thank you, Dad, but they're pretty fun.
I didn't know how to do burnout. Congratulations, man. Good job.
Thanks, Dad. Stay mic'd up.
Harrison's had so much support from Jeff Imogen and that family.
You had to run that same motor all year.
That's what it was.
That's the only one I had.
So 4 drivers now have been determined who will run for a championship a week from now in Phoenix.
4 drivers, 2 manufacturers, 4 different organizations. Look at the parity across. I'll be honest, all year long, you should say Cedric and Briscoe, well, they're going to be the favorites, but heading to Phoenix, I'm not willing to handicap it yet. I think any of these 4 drivers, Jeff just mentioned it, all guys are so good there, but all 4 of these drivers could win the championship a week from today.
We're going to have a new champion. And neither one of these drivers has won a championship at the Xfinity level, so one way or another, we're going to have a new champion.
It's an amazing opportunity for these guys. Somebody's going to walk away with that trophy and that crown and take the next step in their career.
Well, you can join us tomorrow on NBC for a playoff elimination race in the NASCAR Cup Series. The final spots in the Championship 4 are going to be decided. That race coverage from right here in Martinsville, beginning at 2 p.m. Eastern. Pre-race will be at 1:30 p.m. Coming up next on NBC is your local news, except on the West Coast. Celebration for Harrison Burton winning at Martinsville. A championship will be determined next week.